Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. And if you are watching, and I'm not just talking to my camera forever and ever, thank you so very, very much. It is appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up on that. Partly, I'm going to lead into that with I'm written stuff down. I can speak English. I've written stuff down because ADHD brain. I have severe ADHD that I can't treat with normal meds because that sends my blood pressure sky high, and in my early 60s, don't want to do that. So, I always struggle to get views on my videos because, hey, I'm an older guy, I'm doing just stuff. You know, there's not a million people out there that just want to tune in and watch. And again, if you are, thumbs up and thank you. But recently, I have been watching so many of the big channels say, our channel's being wiped out, our views are vanishing entirely, we're getting less than half. And these are big channels, big people. And then there's another person that I watch who's not exactly gigantic. They're a debunking skeptic channel. And even they were coming out and just saying, you know, I'm a smaller channel and I'm being wiped out. And there's bigger channels than mine that are being wiped out. But I watched a different video by another person who was saying, where are all the gaming channels going? Because they're vanishing. And she did an actual deep dive on some of this stuff. Everybody is vanishing from things like the gaming channels and all that and going into things like politics. There's two reasons for that. Money, and then the other half is also money, but it's the algorithm. The money part is if you do anything but a political channel and you get, let's say, a political channel and your channel both get the same amount of views on a video. But because yours is not a get people riled up video, you're going to get, about $2 per million clicks or whatever their rates are. Whereas a reactionary channel is going to get $4 for each of those. They're going to outpace you. And if you aren't a reactionary channel, you're not getting pushed out there. But if you do something that is reactionary and inflammatory, that gets people upset, and thus engaged, that's going to be shown to everybody. So the algorithm is pushing stuff that gets people upset, rage-baity stuff, and things that aren't that, well, they're not banned, but they don't get advertised. Gaming channels are destroyed because of this. That's why it's getting harder and harder to find any gaming channels out there. That's one of the reasons why I can't expect to get a lot of views on any of my gaming stuff anymore until at least they maybe change the algorithm. So it's really not all me. I mean, yes, the meta has changed in that old school people just talking like I do is not the meta, and I am not of the demographic, I can speak English, not of the demographic that is really popular, nor do I have the mental capacity to be able to stick with something enough to do something that's, say, reactionary. Partly because with my neurodivergence, lying is like, I gotta center my shirt because that's also part of my neurodivergence, but lying is like nails on a chalkboard to me. If I know somebody is lying, especially if I know that they know they're lying, I can't deal with that. My brain doesn't know how to do it. At the same time, I can't lie because when I do, I get chest pains from the stress. And I get chest pains enough I don't want to be worrying if I need to go to the ER because I tried to make a grift video about something I don't actually believe. So I'm limited in the rage baity stuff I could do, unless, of course, I actually wanted to say a lot of my rage baity possible. I'm leftist leaning. I'm much more socialist inclined. The problems with communism aren't communism. It's people. The system is fine. People will make it fail. So I'm not to the right, and in the United States, even far left is way to the right. Our Overton window has been pulled so close to Mr. Mustache from 1942 that if you're anything less than that, you're seen as a leftist. So I don't know what I'm going to do for now, other than just right now what I can, which is with my ADHD, largely everything that I've always done. Unless I can make some changes, I can break through my executive dysfunction periodically. Today, one of the reasons it's 12:40 and I'm doing this, when I got up and took a shower early and was ready early, I was actually outside pulling raspberry bushes out of the beauty bark area. I'm trying to get out and do things like that. Now, what brought me up into that sentence? I can't remember what I was exactly talking about, why I got to it, but I'm going to lead into this because I know I was talking about creators and me and all that, and why I'm not getting many views with the things that I do. Oh, I ripped my arm open on a bush. Huh, I didn't even know the thorns got me. Only just now felt it. How about that? Yep. I bought a pair of work gloves, and I have a kneeler for when I need to get down. But also, I possibly really overused this side because you gotta grab them with both arms and pull to get these rooted plants out of the ground. And some of them were really hard. And the last one I was working on, it didn't come up. And I was down with my legs pulling and leaning, and it wasn't coming up. And finally I went, I'm being an idiot. So I really need to take this side careful. But I was out in the sun doing some minor gardening, and I want to get out there and do more of that stuff just so I'm not sitting here all the time. It's good to get out. It's good to do things. And yeah, so also, first, I want to lead in with, I made a community post how I made up another character for this. And amazingly, I am surprised at how actually easy it is. It is intimidating to look at the book. Now, I also bought the PDF for it because they keep updating things. And while they didn't change the content from this, they have made it so it's dual column on every page until you get to the tables, and so it's easier to read and kind of less intimidating because of that. But making a character is now pretty easy, and I've got the sheets made up because you just have to do some pencil writing, and my handwriting is absolutely awful because I'm using my right hand still, and because I can't do it with my left quickly, and I've got issues. Nerve compression. Ooh, I can really feel it now, so I got to be careful. But yeah, I made up a character for that, and because of my ADHD and executive dysfunction, and I'd been pulling those bushes out of the ground, I went, I need to take advantage of this executive dysfunction break in my dysfunction, and thus I made up a character. But it being so intimidating, because it can be, I just said, I'm just going to make up a character and then go with that. And it was easy, so thumbs up. And that leads up to, I recently got this Order of Eventide. Now, this is a weird thing. I have seen the name Valeria on like a million games, and yet they're all made by different companies. So I don't know why Valeria is such a well-used name, but it is a solo slash co-op dungeon crawler. You determine where your dungeon is, you travel to that dungeon, you start dungeon crawling. It has, let me get to one, the random pages are more in the middle of it. And so where you're traveling, you have different pages to do your things. It's kind of like the game NoteQuest and NoteQuest Expanded World, where each individual dungeon has its 2-page spread, and each chart and table, while the charts and tables are taken from each page spread, they're all filled differently. So you open it to that particular dungeon spread, and then you go from those tables. There are 6 biomes that you go through on this. It has a campaign of sorts, in that you go through the 6 biomes defeating the big bosses, and then there's a big boss after you've defeated all those bosses. But if you don't want to do that, you can just keep dungeon crawling, because there's advancement stuff. Gotta remember now. But it has all of these tables. It's got massive tables of characters, and it's going to lead into the thing that I wanted to talk about. I mean, they have full pages if you want to make up these characters and use them for your dungeon crawling. And if you go to their website, they admit, frankly and freely, that all this wonderful art that you see in here, this is all generated on Midjourney using generative machine learning. But they say they went through and manually edited each of the pictures generated so that they would look better and fit the theme. Now, the rest of it with the systems and all this, it is internally consistent, makes sense. The words and all this are not AI. I just wish the art wasn't either. And yes, even I, who am pedantic about this because of my neurodivergence, it's machine learning. It's not artificial intelligence. We don't have that yet. We're just using, everybody uses that as the shortcut, but it is machine learning, even with the generative stuff. So, in my pedanticness, I have to occasionally use the real terms. I can't remember if I talked about this. In fact, I might not have, but in fact, I don't even think I did. I take the guanfacine, I've mentioned this, where I take Wellbutrin / bupropion, because I take the generic, for ADHD, and I take guanfacine for ADHD, but bupropion is for depression. Guanfacine is a very mild blood pressure med. But when I take 3 of those a day, every 8 hours, my time blindness almost vanishes, and I find periods when I can actually concentrate. So, with all of the meds for the past 10 years or more, they have had an auto refill system where if you have refills, you don't even have to call them. They'll just send it to you. You just sign up for it by saying, I want to do it that. And then they do that. And so I have been receiving all of my VA meds, the ones that I don't go to Walmart and do on my own. All of my VA meds have been auto-refilled and mailed to me. Except, every once in a while, a med doesn't. In this case, it was the guanfacine. I've got 3 days left. Nothing has showed up. I gave them a call to say, what's going on? And their first thing after I say, it wasn't auto-refilled like it should be, and it's like, oh, we don't do that. To which all I can say is, You've been doing it for me for all of my meds for years. The very med that I'm holding in my hand, the last 15 times it was sent to me as an auto refill where I didn't have to do it. Why are you telling me that you don't do this? But they're mailing it. She said they try to, let them know it needs to be expedited. So it could show up anywhere from tomorrow to Friday. But at least it's going to show up. And as I figured out on my own, but I can't always do, and I was watching Rosie Bell Moo, a VTuber, reacting to a different video on taking control of your anger, where I have in the past been able to sit down, where if I read something that makes me angry, like a comment that directly attacks me or something, it's what you do is don't latch onto it and then go, because as was pointed out in this video, all of those enzymes and hormones and, well, not necessarily enzymes, but all the hormones being released in your body that make you angry physically, that keep your body angry, only last about 90 seconds unless you decide to stay angry, in which case it keeps pumping all those things out. But if you just wait a minute and a half, they will have dissipated by then. What I have done without knowing that is I'm upset. Step back. Feel what I'm feeling, and then let it go. So, yes, I got irate. I was angry. But, okay, I felt it. Now let's deal with this like someone who's an intelligent human being. And then I'm not angry anymore. You just step back emotionally and intellectually, if you have to, physically, like I just did, and feel what you're feeling, but don't intellectualize all this and then let it go. Because if you choose to stay angry, you're gonna. And you're probably not going to like it. So thumbs up on that. And that's about it on things like that. So I have of late, I didn't find anything to do it, so I'm going to have to fake it as I go. I play a game of internet creative writing and secret word calling out, where I give a picture or a word and ask you to either type a sentence, or if that's a lot of work, and even I understand that, just type in the secret word, which is just one word. The last people that played, and it is of course not mandatory, but the people that have, greatly appreciated. Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up and thank you as always. How heavy, and this is a stupid question, but I watched a video by Drew Durnall, who does a whole bunch of maps and map mean stuff and map games. He did a recent video where he ranked the world's flags by how much they weigh. And there's one flag that's 55 pounds. Do you know how heavy the Finnish flag is? I don't. I did hear that recently they're taking the swastika off of at least some things, so that's a plus. But yeah. How heavy is the flag? And then Dave Ordway, thumbs up and thank you for watching. I sincerely hope if you watch this that your anxiety was eased. That would be a good thing. Toilet Decimator, always good to see you in the comments. My long distance online friend, thumbs up and thank you. I never thought I'd say that to someone whose username was Toilet Decimator, but I kind of feel that. Sir Schmuckle, thumbs up and thank you. To be honest, I feel that I am very... They say parasocial is from viewers to content creator, fans to star. I'm not using me as an example. That was just pointing to demonstrate. I am the watcher's person who's talking type. But that's parasocial. But Hank Green, or John Green, probably Hank, was saying that on the opposite direction, that's more of a seroposial, where you get intellectually and emotionally hooked that direction. And yeah, I really feel it when I realize that names that I have come to really know vanish. And it happens a lot, and it does hurt. It is normal, but thank you all for being there. And of course, Chris, you're in a part of that as well. I just didn't, I stopped before I got to your name. Sorry about that. Ugh. Or as Dr. Evil does. I can't keep my other fingers together and do that. It's hard. Ow, hands cramping, or arm. Anyway, though, I was thinking, if you have watched this far, if you could say, either would you would you join the Order of Eventide? Just a small, simple sentence on that. Or, and I understand this one entirely, that's too much. If you could type the secret word order into the comments, that would be awesome. Again, I would be the one that just types the word order. I am not putting that option down in the slightest. But whether or not you choose option A or option B, thumbs up, thank you. It's not mandatory. I wouldn't force anyone even if I could. But if you do play, thumbs up and thank you. Especially with the algorithm being the way it is definitely appreciated. Well, hokey smokes, I am going to edit, render, upload. I'm going to take care of myself the rest of the day. I've made the one call that, that's also one of the reasons I was out there yanking stuff out of the ground, because while intellectually I had let it go, because I was on the phone waiting on hold for about an hour, I had a lot of stuff physically that still needed to get out because I was antsy, I was wired. Thumbs up on that. Anyway, though, I hope you can get done the things that you would like to get done today, and if not, please do not beat yourself up because you deserve better. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed I'll put it over the cracked mirror for now. There we go. That is indeed a very, very good thing. And now, because that hurts, I'm going to stop doing that. Plus, that's a neat thing. I like that. Anyway, though, I need to find my mouse pointer, click there, and then I'm going to click over here. So you take care.